In a small African village long ago, something impossible happened. One morning, the villagers woke up and discovered they had lost the ability to lie. No matter how hard they tried, only the truth came out of their mouths. Secrets burst open like overripe mangoes falling from a tree. Friendships cracked like dry firewood thrown into a hungry cooking fire. Marriages shook like calabashes rolling down a rocky hill. And before the sun set that day, the entire village was wobbling like a three-legged stool missing a nail. Welcome to Tales by Simply Juliet, where stories live, lessons breathe, and hearts remember. Long ago, in a land where the earth was red like clay pots fresh from the fire, and the wind carried the smell of roasted corn in the evening, there stood a cheerful village called Osumba. The village rested between gentle hills and a slow-wandering river that curled around the land like a lazy snake, warming itself in the sun. Life in Osumba was lively and loud, the way a village should be. Every morning, the roosters crowed so proudly you would think they were arguing with the sun about who woke up first. Women swept their compounds with long brooms that whispered across the ground like gossip traveling from ear to ear. Farmers walked to their fields with hoes resting on their shoulders, looking as proud as warriors marching to battle. Children ran through dusty paths, laughing and chasing one another, like playful antelopes escaping imaginary hunters. Among those children was a boy named Tano. Tano was small, quick, and curious. His eyes sparkled with mischief the way stars sparkle across the sky on a clear night. He could climb mango trees faster than a monkey late for breakfast, and he could run so fast that even the village dog sometimes stopped chasing him halfway and backed him defeat. But Tano had one special talent, a dangerous talent. Tano could lie faster than a lizard disappearing into a crack in the wall. If he broke a clay pot, he blamed the goat. If he finished the honey jar, he would blame the cat. If he returned home late after playing near the river, he would swear he had been helping an old woman carry firewood, even though the old woman had not asked anyone for help in many years. His mother often shook her head and sighed. Boy, your tongue runs faster than your legs. But the truth was, Tano had not invented the habit of lying. He had learnt it because Osumba was a village where lies grew as easily as weeds in a yam farm. In the marketplace, traders praised their goods with voices sweeter than palm wine. "This pepper is so hot, it can wake up sleeping ancestors," one trader would shout. "These tomatoes are so fresh, they were still dreaming about the garden this morning," another would claim. Sometimes the exaggerations were so wild that even the chickens wandering through the market tilted their heads as if they were trying to understand the joke. Farmers borrowed tools and promised to return them tomorrow. But tomorrow in Osumba had a strange habit of running away like a goat chased by hungry boys. Neighbors greeted each other with wide smiles while hiding jealousy in their hearts like snakes sleeping quietly in tall grass. Even the elders beneath the great baobab tree sometimes bent the truth until it looked like a crooked walking stick. Lies in Osumba were everywhere. Small lies, big lies. Lies as slippery as fish swimming in river water. At first, nobody worried about it. After all, the lies seemed harmless. They were like tiny cracks in a clay pot, easy to ignore. But lies are like termites. They chew quietly in the dark. And one day, the house suddenly collapses. One evening, just as the sun melted into the horizon like a ball of fire sinking into soup, a strange traveler arrived in Osumba. He was very old. His beard was white like freshly pounded yam flour, and his face carried deep wrinkles that looked like small rivers carved by time. He leaned on a wooden staff that seemed older than the village itself. The old man walked slowly through the marketplace. His sharp eyes missed nothing. He saw a trader secretly mixing rotten yams with fresh ones. He heard two friends praising each other while secretly envying one another like dogs staring at the same bone. He even noticed Tano promising his mother that he had finished sweeping the compound, while the broom leaned quietly against the wall, looking as lonely as a forgotten drum at a festival. The old traveler sighed. The sound was heavy, like a drum beaten during a funeral. Later that evening, the traveler sat beneath the great baobab tree in the center of the village. That baobab tree had stood there longer than anyone could remember. Its trunk was so wide that 10 grown men holding hands could barely circle it. Its roots twisted through the earth like giant snakes, and its branches stretched across the sky like the arms of a giant greeting the wind. Villagers gathered around the traveler out of curiosity, but something about this one felt different. The old man looked at them quietly before speaking. When truth leaves a village, peace packs its bags and runs away. The villagers burst into laughter. One trader wiped tears from her eyes. Old man, if everyone spoke the truth all the time, this village would explode like an overfilled cooking pot. Another man laughed loudly. A little lie is like salt in soup. Without it, life becomes tasteless. The old traveler nodded slowly. Very well, he said quietly. Tomorrow your village will taste the soup of truth. The villagers laughed again, and some returned to their homes, forgetting the old man's strange words as easily as dust blowing from a rooftop.
But that night, when the moon hung in the sky like a silver calabash, the old traveler stood alone in the center of Osumba. He raised his wooden staff toward the heavens. The wind stirred through the trees, owls blinked awake, leaves whispered softly. The traveler murmured ancient words that sounded older than the mountains. Then, like smoke carried away by the wind, he vanished. The next morning began like any other day. Roosters crowed, women swept their compounds, children ran through the village chasing one another like playful goats.